which only impacts regular Americans because that's being used for research in the areas of cancer and diabetes and Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and artificial intelligence. It just harms us. We got a new filing and a new development in the Harvard fight against the Trump administration to try to stop them from cutting off over $9 billion worth of funding. Right judge, right court, right law firms. Really important at this moment. I'm Michael Popok, and you're on the Midas Touch Network. Let me catch you up here on the Harvard story.
Fox News is calling Harvard grads useless. But wait, why stop there? Watch as they go all in on bashing education, plumbers, and even the economy with claims so wild they need a fact check. What's really behind this bizarre narrative? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. Why does it sometimes seem like Fox News isn't reporting the news so much as reading Trump's diary out loud? From their talking points to their dramatic rants, it's hard to miss how often their messaging lines up with whatever grievance Donald Trump is broadcasting that day. Take Laura Ingraham, for example. She recently declared, with no hint of sarcasm, that she's the high priestess of hate. A bold move, honestly, but the real issue is how she uses this label to position herself as some kind of victim slayer. She's out here ranting about the left's victim complex while she clutches her pearls over Trump's so-called persecution.
As a violation of First Amendment rights, due process rights, administrative procedure rights, and the rest. And it's been assigned to Judge Burroughs. He cut the legs out from under and cut the balls out from under the Department of Education and put a bootlicker in and Linda McMahon in charge of it, so there wouldn't be any objection to what he's doing. He then, whatever was left of the Department of Education, he had them send out letters that cut off funding. This is all led by Stephen Miller and the Heritage Foundation, by the way.
If irony were a sport, she'd be winning gold. Let's talk about that word, persecution. Ingraham loves throwing it around, usually to defend Trump, who, let's be real, practically has the phrase, "I'm being persecuted," stamped on his forehead. She claims everyone's out to get him. Democrats, the media, probably even the poor guy who delivers his Diet Coke. Yet she somehow manages to overlook the fact that Trump has made playing the victim his entire personality. Whether it's election results he didn't like or legal troubles that he kind of created for himself, the man cannot stop whining. But when anyone else dares to point out they're facing systemic injustice, suddenly Ingraham's rolling her eyes and calling them soft. It's like watching a pyromaniac complain about the fire department showing up. And here's the kicker. It's not just Ingraham. Fox News as a whole operates like Trump's personal megaphone, blasting his takes with all the subtlety of an air horn. Caroline Leavitt, one of their on-air cheerleaders, recently went on a bizarre rant attacking Harvard graduates. She painted them as completely useless to society, essentially dismissing higher education altogether. Why? Because it fits Trump's favorite narrative, that America's elites, especially in academia, are the real problem. Never mind the fact that our society actually needs both professors and plumbers. It's much easier for them to frame it as a battle between plumbers and woke graduates. This rhetoric isn't an accident. It's part of a bigger strategy that Fox News has perfected under Trump's influence. They have this habit of simplifying everything into a zero-sum game. If one group gains rights or respect, another loses out. If an LGBTQ graduate succeeds, well, then your local electrician must be struggling, or so the story goes. It's designed to create resentment between groups that don't actually need to be at odds with each other. It also conveniently distracts their viewers from asking questions like, wait, why are wages so stagnant? Or, how come billionaires are getting tax cuts? Divisive narratives are much easier to push than actual solutions. What's wild is how seamlessly this lines up with Trump's long-standing playbook. He's been railing against the elites since his first campaign, even though, let's not forget, he lives in a literal gold-plated tower. Fox News has only amplified that message, tying it to every culture war grievance they can think of. Want to discredit higher education? Claim it's run by leftist mobs who hate regular Americans? Need to rally support from working-class voters? Pretend electricians and Ivy League grads are natural enemies. They're taking Trump's scripts and running with them, even when the logic crumbles faster than one of his old casinos. What's especially fascinating, or terrifying, depending on how you see it, is how coordinated this all feels. Studies have shown that Fox News' coverage consistently mirrors Trump's political goals. When he attacks someone or something, whether it's woke culture or environmental regulations, you can bet Fox is going to repeat that attack like it's breaking news. And with shocking consistency, their talking points almost always serve to inflate Trump's brand while tearing down anyone who challenges him. It's propaganda dressed up as news, and the way they push these narratives is as brazen as it is effective. But why put so much effort into stoking division? Because it works. It distracts their audience from inconvenient truths and keeps them focused on the so-called enemies of Trump's vision for America. If you can convince a plumber to believe that an LGBTQ Harvard grad is threatening his livelihood, it's a lot easier to hide the fact that the same system exploiting one group is hurting the other too. It's not a coincidence. It's a calculated game of smoke and mirrors designed to serve Trump's agenda. But what happens when those mirrors start to crack? When the facts don't fit the story they're spinning? Caroline Leavitt recently went on Fox News to announce that Biden left the economy in the dust. A statement like that deserves a little napkin math, right? Nope. Leavitt didn't back this claim with data, just threw it out there like it was self-evident. But here's the thing. Under Biden, the numbers tell a story that's dramatically different from what Fox wants you to believe. Record GDP growth, record job creation, and unemployment rates that hit historic lows. That's dusty? If this is what Biden does to the economy, please hand him a feather duster. But it's not new for Fox to play fast and loose with economic facts. This is the same network that spent years hyping up Trump's supposed superhuman financial genius. All you'd hear back then was how Trump, as if by pure force of will, made the economy great again. What they didn't like talking about was the other side of that story, the one with tanked job numbers and looming recession risks. During Trump's 4 years, the U.S. saw significant job losses, especially in his final year, when unemployment hit nearly 15% at its peak. And remember when he promised to make things more affordable? Yeah, that went about as well as predicting the weather by flipping a coin. Even pre-pandemic, wages were sluggish while the cost of living kept climbing. But nah, let's forget all that and claim Trump was the working class hero, right? Now, if that were the full extent of the spin, maybe you could roll your eyes and move on. But Fox isn't just avoiding inconvenient numbers. They're actively twisting them. You'll see them take one statistic, yank it out of context, and slap a big, "This is bad news for Biden" sticker on it. Like when they harp on gas prices without mentioning that under Biden, the U.S. became the world's top energy producer. Or when they ignore the 40 to 50% leap in the stock market during Biden's administration because, let's face it, those numbers don't sell outrage. Fox loves a good story. And what's better than convincing hardworking folks at home that the economy is somehow collapsing while they're, keeping their jobs? And don't expect Fox to compare Biden's record to Trump's in any meaningful way. That would ruin the illusion. Comparing Trump's sluggish recovery, even before the pandemic, to Biden's booming post-crisis economy would blow a hole in their narrative big enough to fit one of Trump's golf carts. Take their coverage of the GDP alone. During Trump's term, when growth hovered in the low single digits, they celebrated it like it was the second coming of economic prosperity. When Biden oversaw record-breaking GDP numbers post-pandemic, crickets. They'd rather talk about what someone said in a college lecture hall than put those facts side by side. Nowhere has this manipulation been more obvious than in their rhetoric about working-class Americans. Fox loves to pitch the idea that Trump is some kind of blue-collar whisperer, while Biden is out there sipping lattes with Harvard grads. The irony here is that Trump's policies catered largely to the wealthy, the tax cuts, the deregulations that made corporations even richer. Those were deliberate choices, and boy did his billionaire buddies cash in. Meanwhile, Biden's policies, like infrastructure investments and massive job programs, actually addressed the needs of the middle class and those working paycheck to paycheck. Even now, millions of new jobs have been created under Biden, including blue-collar jobs Fox claims he doesn't care about. Yet, none of this makes it onto Fox's screens, because facts can't compete with their favorite bedtime story about Trump the economic savior. Why does this narrative work so well for their audience? It's simple: misdirection. By spinning Trump as the guy who gets middle America and Biden as some coastal elitist, Fox creates clear heroes and villains, but it's all smoke and mirrors. The people struggling under Trump's slow job recovery back then are the same ones benefiting from Biden's growth today, and they're probably too busy working those jobs to notice Fox is telling them they don't exist. Then there's the bigger agenda here. Fox's economic spin isn't just about propping up Trump. It's about keeping their viewers angry, fearful, and suspicious of anything that doesn't fit their worldview. By painting a picture of decline and pointing fingers in every direction except up the income ladder, they keep people focused on culture wars while bigger systemic issues go ignored. After all, if you're busy worrying about how much a gallon of milk costs, you're probably not spending much time thinking about corporate profits or tax breaks for billionaires. It's clever, but it's also a con. And let's not forget, for all Trump's protests about a rigged system, he and his allies thrived within it. The same network that pretends to champion hardworking Americans runs cover for policies that made life harder for those very people. It's all part of the same playbook: twist, distract, divide. And when the facts are too inconvenient, they turn to fear and deflection. Fox News isn't just spinning stories, it's building an alternate reality where facts don't stand a chance. Every wild claim, every exaggerated narrative, it's all designed to keep their viewers angry and confused. The problem is, when enough people buy into the lie, it stops feeling like a lie at all. It becomes their truth. So next time you hear one of these claims, ask yourself, where are the facts? Better yet, take that moment to fact check and show others how to cut through the noise. Because let's face it, when they panic on live TV, the truth isn't far behind.